Another week of Wise Kracks. We have a special guest today, Bill, in studio.
Great. And why don't you introduce him to everyone?
I'll do it. We've got Michael Sartain joining us. I once coined you as the next Joe Rogan. I still believe that.
I hope so. That'd be great, man.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I think you're the most well-rounded podcast host maybe on the planet.
I appreciate that.
It's
man.
true, though.
I appreciate
this guy can talk anything. It's actually annoying a little bit.
That's good.
He's very well-rounded.
Yeah.
He knows everything.
That's good to be well-rounded and
a veteran,
spontaneous too.
Yeah,
and not like we're unscripted kind of show.
Right.
You know, you have no idea what I'm going to say today.
No clue.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Just to talk some sports.
Former
talk some
Air
shop.
Force captain.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And he does his show here at Sticky Paws.
Nice.
Yeah.
For many years
What
now.
is your show on? What do you just anything?
So it's a ton of different topics, but it tends to come back to evolutionary psychology, basically like how natural selection made humans want the same kind of food, the same kind of culture, the same kind of men and women, what they're attracted to, stuff like that. That's basically what it usually comes back to, unless we're discussing astronomy or physics or something like that. That's usually what it is.
But now you might think
Way above me.
You might be thinking, John, what the hell did you have him come on this show for?
I don't care. Bring
He
anyone you want.
also can talk basketball till the cows come home and football, and he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, so of course that's very close to my heart.
Well, this weekend is unusual where we have 6 playoff games, wild card games, and we don't really do a lot of selection talking about games on the show. However, this week it scares me how much I like a game or two.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a few of them like that. That Philadelphia game makes no sense. Philly shouldn't be favored.
that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah? What's the spread on that?
Tampa Bay is one of them. Tampa Bay getting 3 points at home makes no sense to me. We'll get right into it since
Yeah.
I said that. And we didn't say a word before the show.
No.
Yeah.
I just met him, so I don't understand how Philadelphia's 1-5. The second in the last 6 games, second half of the season they played terribly. One of the worst defenses, one of the worst offenses. Lucked into the playoffs. I've been calling them a fraud team all year long. Talked about Dallas to win the division and at least 4 episodes this year, and Tampa Bay 5-1 their last 6 games, and
Philly's 1-5 in their last 6?
In the last 6 games. How can it be possible? I still want to look at this game and say Philly must be home. How can they be given 3 points on the road here? I don't understand it.
Can you explain it?
I don't get it.
I mean, I think it's where the money's going. I think people still think of Philadelphia going to the Super Bowl last year. And remember, like when we look at the lines, a lot of times we think of the lines as like, the handicapper will put the line out, but the betting crowd will move the line to whatever it wants. So which is a lot of times you'll see, lines that are way out of whack, but it's just because like they want even money. So I think that's what's going on here. I think it's just one of those situations. I don't think Vegas thinks Philly is better. Philly is so injured. It's crazy.
Banged up.
They're really banged up, and they can't do the things they were able to do last year, like take off and having Hurts take off and run all the time. AJ Brown, I don't even know if he's going to play this week. Like it's a very different team. And like to be honest with you, like the thing that was so dominant about them on their defense last year, I don't know that Slay and Bradbury are I feel like they're too old to be doing some of the things that they were doing last year. They just don't seem to have the same thing with Fletcher Cox. I mean, we just keep thinking he's the same player, but he's not.
They lost their coordinators. I mean, Philadelphia's not the same team as last year, like you said. So, I do like Tampa Bay in this game. I usually don't bet a lot.
I was going to say, is this a rare time you're going to bet a side?
There's 2 sides I'm betting.
Really?
I bet. This game just keeps getting higher and higher. It opened up 1.5, 2, up to 3 now. I have a live odds screen, so it shows you every sportsbook all around the world.
Yeah.
You pay $500 a month for this thing. But now up to 3, even 3 minus 15. You can get plus 3 minus 05. Yeah, I made a small bet on Tampa Bay plus 3 when it first came up, and now I'll be betting a little bit more. But the bigger game I'm betting is just I almost don't get it. When the line came out, I bet Kansas City on the money line minus 160. I found. Then I found them 170 on the money line. I also found a minus 3, which I bet twice when the line first came up. Kansas City over Miami. Now the line's up to 4.5, and the money line's probably about 2 to 1, maybe 210, 215. Now, I just don't see in any world where Miami can compete with Kansas City in Kansas City. Miami's so banged up. Kansas City's fresh off a layoff, resting players. 10-degree weather. The Miami's going to cold ass Kansas City. Mahomes so much experience.
I was just going to say the Mahomes factor.
There's just so many reasons why. Like I bet probably I'm not going to say too much for my bankroll, but I bet a lot of money on this game. I usually don't bet that kind of money on NFL games. I have no problem betting 5 figures on a college game, but on a pro game where any given Sunday anything can and will happen. And granted, this game may still be closer, and Miami may still win. I'm not saying that. It's the NFL. But I just really feel that Kansas City's the right team here. It looks so public. It looks so square. It looks so non-Bill Krackenberger talking about something like this.
I'm in shock right now.
Yeah, no, I put a lot of money on this game.
Where are you with that game?
Miami losing their top 4 pass rushers, all of them out for the year, is just kind of crazy. They've got the corpse of Melvin Ingram rushing the quarterback. And I saw him out there. I was confused. Melvin Ingram plays for the Miami Dolphins. Bro, I saw Claypool playing wide receiver for them. I was like, Claypool plays for the Dolphins? I had no idea, right? 53-man rosters are deep, I guess. No, I don't. I think they're going to have some trouble. Mostert didn't play last week. I think they still have a lot of the speed on offense, but every week Tyreek Hill gets hurt. There's he has to miss plays because he gets popped. I just don't know how they're going to be able to keep up with this. The only issue that I see is that Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, these guys couldn't catch malaria in the Congo. Man, they are
terrible this year,
really bad,
terrible.
And you see all the time. Like they would have beaten the Bills if
for sure
is Valdes-Scantling catches that one pass. And then the other thing with their tight end, he just it's one of these things where he's not as good as you forget that he's 35 years old. You just think that it's not like Witten where he just run blocks and run stick routes all the time. They ask a lot more of him, so I'm curious to see how this whole thing works out. I still think there's this belief that I think Kansas City can just turn it on, but I do like the fact that Miami going to 10-degree weather is probably not going to work out that well for them. Yeah.
I don't have the stat on it, but and it could just be my own bias, but I feel like there's been more dropped passes this year as a whole in the NFL. I feel like
probably.
Every time I'm
definitely
watching games, definitely on Kansas City, it's crazy, right? I mean, it's just nuts. I don't know why can't these guys catch the ball? What is going on?
Yeah. So let's we'll talk about some other games, the other games too, just because it is the playoffs. We usually don't go game by game, but 6 games here. Let's go. Cleveland going to Houston. Kind of surprised me this line. 2.5 minus 15, even almost a 3. There was a 3 for a little while here. I'm surprised because Houston, a bookmaker puts up a money to try to get two-way action, but they also know with the intent, like the pot odds, what's going to happen during the week. Public loves betting Houston. They love betting this kid.
Yeah,
love betting the quarterback.
I love that kid.
And usually Sundays is when the money comes in, so I expect that game to maybe go down a little bit more. Though Cleveland has surprised me this year, and probably deserve it to be like a 1-point favorite. I'm surprised they're more towards the 3. That's Saturday's game. So Cleveland, Houston, Miami, Kansas City. It's funny that Miami, Kansas City game will probably be going to a show that night, correct?
Yes.
With your dad. And so we'll have to get that score.
It's a Saturday night game?
Yeah, Saturday night game. Yep. And then Sunday we have Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Buffalo, 10-point favorites. I'm going to say that they're probably it opened up 9.5. One book opened up 10.5. They probably don't want to make the game 9.5 or lower because their tendency is just to bet teasers. So they'll tease Buffalo down through the key numbers of 7 and 3 underneath the 3. So that's why this game probably won't move off the 10. And people would probably tease them if they would with Dallas, because Dallas being 7.5, teasing them down through the key numbers of 7 and 3. Let me tell you something that happened in this Buffalo game, though. So a buddy of mine, literally, I can show you my phone. Buddy of mine, line comes up. Buffalo comes up 41 was the total, and so the line comes up 41. I bet it in town under 41, knowing the weather was supposed to be cold and windy, but not really a real number. Knowing that it was going to drop down to 35. So I text my buddy back in New Jersey, and I said, "Are you awake?" I literally said, "Are you awake?" Because it was like 12 o'clock.
That's usually a pickup line.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, "You there? I have a great play." You see there? You there? I have a great play. Yes. Buffalo under 41. I told him a lot of money. I said, you could bet 5,000. It's going to be terrible weather there. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, go. I said, got to go ASAP. You see my
yeah.
He's done. Beautiful. 5,000. He's like, yeah. So now, sure enough, the next day it goes down to 35. The weather comes out. But I already had, my guys on Sunday night are already looking at that game and the weather details. So, and I also added, as you can see here, more on Kansas City money line minus 170. But I told him, go back to bed. So now I tell him this. What do you think happens the next day? He gets thrown out of the sports book.
Come on.
He gets thrown out. Oh.
Can you say what book or no?
No, I'm not gonna bury him
here in town.
No.
Oh, back in AC.
East.
Okay.
Yeah. He got thrown out because he bet the under.
Correct.
Oh my goodness.
Because it went to 35. They said we don't want that kind of action.
So it's funny you bring this up.
I just showed him all the text. Just sickening.
I got to put the old man glasses on real quick.
Yeah.
Producer Rob, remember producer Rob from Canada?
Yep.
He said, I've got a question for Crack for tomorrow. We've got the Bills total sitting around 36 for the wild card matchup against the Steelers. There's supposed to be bad weather, but 86% of the public is on the under. They're driving the total lower and lower. Should I be fading both the public and Mother Nature on this one?
That's funny.
Literally, he texted me that last night.
And I just showed you all the texts. I bet here in town, I bet under 41 and under 40.5.
Yeah.
And, it went down to 35 yesterday. A little bit of a weather report came out that it might be okay. Now I say okay, still going to be snowing, blustering winds. The wind means everything. It's not the snow that people see, it's the wind. The wind means everything. The gust mean everything.
Yeah.
So they were predicting 60-mile-an-hour winds, 45-mile-an-hour gust. You can't throw the ball in that weather. It's going to be a running game only.
Yeah.
So that's why you could bet running backs over on the props. You could bet all the receivers under, quarterback under. But it depends as we get closer and closer to the game what those wind gusts are and what that wind is. That means everything. So I got to tell you, it's a really low total for these two teams. So Watt's out on Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh's defense is Watt. I mean. If anything, at that low of a number, I can't bet under. I can't bet under when I bet under 41 or 40.5. You know what I mean? I actually bet about like 10 grand on this game. So I can't bet under now. If anything, I can bet over. If anything, but I'm not betting the over. I didn't bet the game with the intent on middling the game. It's very hard to middle games, middle totals. I mean, it's like a really impossible thing. This is a strictly weather situation. Especially the game opened up. For about 20 minutes, it opened up 43. So then, when one of my right hand men came to me and said, "Hey, listen, looks like it's gonna be some bad weather there, according to this Doppler radar screen that we have. Might be some really bad wind and some bad gust of wind." So that's why I bet it. Didn't think it was going to go down to 35 the next day, which it did. Sitting at 36, 35.5, 36 now. As I look at my live screen, I can't bet the under now. So you could tell them I can't bet the under now. I can only bet the over at that lower of a number. It may even go lower. Public's funny. As soon as they see the screen on Sunday morning and they see the snow piled up in the background, they don't even think. They see the snow piled up because the snow plows pushed all the snow together. Doesn't mean it's coming down and like that kind of snow's going to come down the field. But the public just thinks that automatically, and they automatically bet under because they see that. Even the snow, it's fine. Your footing could be fine as long as the wind is not there. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But I'll tell you, I'm more upset about these sports books. This is the second week in a row now that I've been limited or banned in a sports book. And I got my buddy banned here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't even telling him to bet for me. I was just telling him to make a bet for himself. And he was upset. He's like, "Oh, my God, I've been playing here for like a year. And they threw me out for this?" Well, that's what happened to me a couple weeks ago at Caesars here. All I did was bet a correlation that was a mathematical correlation that a guy wasn't going to play in the NBA more than a few minutes on speculation of someone on ESPN that actually put it out there. And Adam Schefter put it out there. And because they were too slow to move the line and take the line off the board.
Was it Wembanyama? Who are you talking about? Who was playing? Who wasn't playing that many minutes?
Yeah, I'll actually read to you even better. Because I don't know NBA players. I'm not an NBA guy. I don't support any of them. I don't like that. I really don't like the NBA.
This is blasphemy for him. That just so you know, literally his favorite sport.
Yeah, I could probably name 6 guys on all 30 rosters.
Really? You're a veteran. Yeah. Do you like that LeBron doesn't stand for the flag?
I don't like that he doesn't stand for the flag.
I knew you were going to say that.
But I support his right to do so. He has a right to do so.
Well, we're going to be on different sides there. I don't know. I'm surprised as a veteran you'd say that, to be honest.
Well, but that's why.
I think it's the First Amendment of the Constitution that I'm supposed to support. So.
I got you. I had so many friends. I had a guy that I was on ESPN with that I was on I think I showed you my buddy Gennaro Pellegrini. He was a Philadelphia cop. We took a train from Philly to New York to do cold pizza together, and he was just recruited to go to Iraq. He's like, God, I've been there twice, not recruited, and he died over there. And I just think of him dying over there, that kid, and it just gets to me every time. And I think about like guys like LeBron and these guys and not standing for the flag. And you make all your money in this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
I just think it's a bad example for kids. But like you said, people have the right to do what they want. I guess I have the right to say what I want to. I have a big mouth. Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
All right. So I went under, as you could see here, under his rebounds, assists, field goals, and points.
Yeah.
So I just put that in a correlation.
It's
together.
incredible. You can just bet all that. Yeah, Mikal Bridges is the.
But you get penalized on the odds. A 4-team, we're supposed to pay like 15-1.
Yeah.
They're paying 6.5-1. So you get penalized to bet that. So after I bet it, I didn't think much of it. My prop guy said, okay. So he said to me, okay, nothing confirmed, but there's a speculation he may get limited minutes tonight. Brooklyn is sitting a lot of starters. He's playing. Because he had a 400 consecutive game streak or something, but there's speculation he may play a little
limited minutes.
just to
I remember
keep
this.
his streak
Yeah,
alive.
yeah. So Mikal Bridges is like he's a former first-team All-NBA defender. Is a small forward for the Nets. When he played for the Suns, he didn't really get the ball much, so he was just out there playing defense because they had Kevin Durant. He got to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn wasn't really playing for anything. They gave this kid the ball, and all of a sudden he's scoring 30. He can score 30 a night, not every night, but turns out he's a way better player. So yeah, that's the thing.
He got 2 minutes. He can only play.
Yeah.
So the speculation was correct.
Yeah,
and it's not my fault that it's out there on Twitter.
Yeah.
and it's out there on ESPN.
I had heard this also. Yeah,
down.
He wanted to keep his consecutive streak.
Pull the odds down then.
Yeah.
It's not my fault you didn't pull it down. Why do I have to do your job? So instead, what Caesars does is they literally, next day I went to go bet and my account's limited to $100.
It's really funny. It's like how the federal government works. Like you can't discriminate against people who you serve in a restaurant, but sportsbooks have the total and complete discretion.
We're going to agree with this.
To discriminate against anyone based on mathematical probabilities. It's like basically they'll figure out a parlay that only the most experienced bettors could have find everyone who bet the parlay in one certain direction and then ban all of those.
That's
people.
exactly what happened.
And then if you keep doing so, you keep taking the fat tail out of your distribution, and then eventually it's just all profit.
They froze my account. I got a lot of money in there.
Yeah.
They froze my account.
Yeah.
I literally have to go down there and plead with them. They freeze my account balance.
Yeah, it's pretty maddening. Yeah.
No,
I know you know a lot of pro gamblers too. Do you have friends that have this same issue?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know a ton of all of them do at some point.
Right.
And it's baccarat. It's anything.
Right.
They'll
Winners.
ban if they just win consistently. It just really is one of the biggest hater. But I think because the casino doesn't have a face for you to jump on, right? That's the reason why it's just the casino is just this publicly traded corporation, and they just so you don't have anybody to attack. And so I think that's the reason why they're able to get away with it. And also, I think the other thing is the sports bettor in general doesn't get the sympathy of the country, right? It's not a sympathetic character. So when they go and say, "Hey, I can't believe I got kicked out of the sports book," a lot of Middle America or the Bible Belt is like, "Why are you betting in the first place?" So that's why.
You said something interesting there. I've never talked about this on a show ever because people will say, "What? What are you talking about?" He opened up the door for it. You said baccarat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can win at anything, John. He's right. You can go to the crap table, not even touch the dice. But if you win 10 times in a row, a good amount of money, they look at your account. Now they'll say, "You know what, Mr. P, Mr. Joe, we can't give you comps anymore. Yeah, you're not physically worth it. You're not financially worth it to us." He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
They just don't want high limit play. You listen, when we were out with Dana, what did he pull you and me to the side and say? We're not going to mention the casino.
Yeah.
Most casinos.
There's a big casino.
There's a giant casino
that you would never think sweats the money.
Yeah.
And they sweat the money with him.
They sweat the money with him. Yeah, but
a lot of people.
They just don't have other players to offset him, maybe, but they do.
They do.
They do.
Of course they do.
It's shocking, to hear this. But going back to what he said, you're so right, Michael. I know guys that have been cut off from playing baccarat, cut off of comps. And by the way, it's a negative EV game. They're going to lose in the end.
Yeah.
But if they hit and run, casinos do not like guys that come in and hit and run. Now, what I mean is they come in and they win 20 grand and they quit. But they don't realize that they can win the whole $500,000 credit line off you. But if you go in and take this 20,000, now I've been told from casino executives, Crack, the reason why is they come in, they take comps, they take show tickets, they take meals. Now they just hit and run. And they're taking, but we have to be that lucky casino that gets their whole bankroll and wins the whole bank. I don't agree with any of it. It's the game's a 1.5%, 2% game. I don't agree with it. I think if you're there to book a game, book a game. But you're right. People don't realize that you get thrown out of casinos even just for winning on negative EV games. It's the reason why I want to go in and beat the hell out of every casino when I walk in. I want
That's
to.
how Dana feels.
You have no legal protection either. Again, like I said, it's not normal federal discrimination laws don't apply to you because of the fact that you get kicked out for something. It would be similar to like somebody saying, "Well, I don't. We're playing the Cowboys next week. I'd like for Micah Parsons to not be part of this game," and then just be like the other team disqualifying him from the game. But casinos can do this. When you think about it, I listened to Grant Cardone talk about this. He was like, he kept hearing the same names over again, complaining about the program. So he's like, let's fire our worst clients. Let's just tell any of the clients who give us problems, we're just like, we're going to give you a full refund and get out of there. And it's risk mitigation. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like the casinos are like, let's just fire our worst clients. The people that are winning the money from us the most or seem to be putting way too much effort into this. Let's get rid of those people.
You're spot on.
And there's no
people at home aren't going to believe this. They're going to say, what? No way.
But when you look at it legally and you look at it logically, just from a mathematical standpoint, if you had a business where I could just get rid of my competition, like literally just could not interact with them, then you would do so. It would be stupid for you to not do so, even though it may be immoral.
Right. I wonder, could you get away with, if you did get thrown out, going back and saying, I identify as a loser. Let me back in.
That's funny.
Well, it's funny you say that part. That was going to be my next part of something, and it's going back in. What I don't understand is, don't the sportsbooks realize now I'm going to play under John Orlando's name, under Michael's name? I'm going to play anyway.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get me. I'm just going to beard in. By the way, you have to give me a bonus now. You have to for sign up, and you're not going to know it's Bill Krackenberger playing.
Yeah,
you're not going to know at first. You're never going to know it's me, but you're never going to know it's someone sharp at first. It's going to take a while to identify, hey, this guy's betting prop bets, this guy's betting secondary markets, this guy's betting correlations. It's going to take a while, whereas if you just book me for a certain amount of money, you know it's me, you know to move your line.
Right, they're getting the information.
Get the information, get the customers on the other side of that.
Does this ever happen with like DraftKings? Do you ever have like guys who are really sharp there?
I'm not allowed to play at DraftKings or FanDuel on the apps. Or by the way, everywhere over there. Yeah. Bet Rivers, everywhere on the East Coast. They threw me off the apps. They do book me at the counter for $1,000 max. At the counter, I have to go to Foxwoods now. Atlantic City's $500. They have one place at resorts. It's $500 max at the counter for me. Foxwoods has DraftKings $1,000.
So does DraftKings identify you by name, or have you just had so much action they thought was toxic that they banned you?
They know my name when I come up there because I'm going to go over the $10,000 mark cumulatively.
Okay.
So you have to give your ID and stuff, so they know who's betting, and they have to approve every bet. So it goes back. By the way, it goes back to Vegas here on Durango is where the approval, even though it's in Connecticut, wherever it may be, the approval's done here in Nevada, and they say, okay, Bill Krackenberger's over there. Okay, yeah, we'll give him a dime. I'll give him a nickel. I'll give him a dime. So I'm happy I'm getting that. I'm not going to be upset at that. And they don't want. They don't want you and me being on the app. All three of us, and I'll say to you guys, all right, guys, on the count of down to 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, bang. You hit it, I hit it. They don't want to get hit on the same bet together, and then therefore that they're afraid that you're going to circumvent the limits that they have by us hitting it. So they throw the sharper people off the apps.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's even wrong. Take $500 on the app and move your line and learn them. But they don't. They want you to, at least they're taking my bets at the counter. I can't blame them. And they don't want. It's funny. I actually had an article that I showed someone. They just don't want people. DraftKings has openly said it that they don't want people that win. The CEO. He actually. I did a show on Showtime called Action a couple of years ago. I did 4 episodes. We did a docuseries. I was on there with the CEO of DraftKings, Jason Robbins. He messed up by saying that publicly that they don't want they just don't want anyone that wins. So they just don't. They don't want anyone that wins. But you really listen. No sports books don't want anyone that wins. I mean, really long term, but
Sure.
But they book you. You know, it's funny. Look, as we're on here, guys, I just got 2 props here at 11 a.m. As you see, Pittsburgh props: Buffalo quarterback Allen under 223 yards, and Rudolph under 173.5 yards. And that's what I just said. I said that the quarterbacks.
Does that count rushing yards for Allen?
No, that's just
passing yards.
Passing yards. Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've just
especially.
been watching them. They ran for 266 yards against the Cowboys. Like that's what they want to do is run the ball.
Right. Do you ever bet?
I will be betting if the Cowboys make it to the divisional round that they will not make it to the conference championship.
Bite your tongue! How could you do this?
Let me finish what I'm saying. I want them to go to the NFC Championship, and I think that they're good enough to do it.
Yeah.
But one way or the other, I'm getting paid. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like if they lose, like they have, they haven't been to the divisional round in 27 years.
Yeah.
Then hey, I'm going to at least make some money, right? And if they do, like trust me, I'm going to bet 4 figures, whatever. If I lose that money, I won't care because the Cowboys are in the NFC Championship game. So,
it's win-win.
Yeah, it's win-win. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I've watched this story happen too many times.
It's crazy.
The
right?
1 seed, the 2 seed, it doesn't make any difference.
Why can't they? Why has it been so long? Like, how does a team like the Cowboys that have the money? How does this happen?
I think the situation, if you were to look at Will McClay, he's their de facto GM. He's the guy who actually picks the players. He's fantastic. He might be the best in the entire league. There's teams pulling up the dump truck trying to get him away from the Cowboys. The problem is what they do is they believe in their own players too much, and they re-sign guys they shouldn't sign. They shouldn't have re-signed Jalen Smith. The Ezekiel Elliott contract is probably one of the worst in the last 10 years. It's a horrible contract for the Cowboys. Finally got out from underneath it. And so they just keep re-signing players that they shouldn't have re-signed over and over again. They keep believing too much in their own guys, and it causes them to have some issues in the front office. They made some really bad decisions. They could have signed Dak for $23 million a year. Instead, we're going to wait a year, and it's $44 million a year now. Like they just did
what they gave him.
Absolutely don't know what they're doing. And so you see that over and over again. I think that's part of the reason is the bad front office management. But the other reason is generally what happens around the end of the season, Jerry does something stupid that draws the ire and attention of the referees, the NFL, and the media, the betting public, everyone on the Cowboys. And the Cowboys just like have these distractions to deal with in addition to it's Tony Romo going to Cabo. It's just something that happens every year. It's Terrell Owens crying. It's just every year for 20. I'm trying to find the correlation.
Man.
It's just Jerry will do something like you saw yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard Jerry say, what about Mike McCarthy's future? And he goes, he's a great coach, and we're really happy to have him, and we'll just see how everything goes. And I'm like, we'll see everything. He just had 3 12-win seasons, and we'll see. He goes, we'll see game to game. And I'm like, that sounds like you're going to fire your coach. And again, it's stuff like that. It's these added distractions. I think that's part of the reason why the Cowboys always have trouble whenever they get to the divisional round.
He's too much involved with the team. He's too
Jones,
much involved.
it's like Al Davis.
Yeah, he's just too much involved. Some people actually liked Al Davis. No one likes Jerry Jones. But anyway, let's go on to that game. That game 7.5.
Okay, go ahead.
That game 7.5 and 51. There's actually an 8 here in town too. Believe it or not, I do like Dallas in a teaser, teasing it down. But believe it or not, even in that game, I don't trust that. Who knows? Maybe Green Bay can even win the game. But I did bet a teaser with Dallas, thinking all they have to do is win the game. So, but there is a situation there where I seen that this game. You know why 7.5 is not even a really good line. They should have made the line like 9.5. And let me tell you why. If I'm a sportsbook owner, I am not letting people tease down like they're letting you tease right now from 7.5 down to 1.5, the 6-point teaser. I would make it a 9.5, and you want to put a 7-point teaser and charge $1.50 or $1.40, whatever they charge on a 7-point teaser. So there's not really much of a difference between 7.5 and 9.5. I'm surprised they didn't do that in this game. But what do you want to say about the game? Dallas game.
Not the Dallas game, but just Texas in general. Okay. My friend Alex, for the last 6 weeks, has said the Texans are going to the Super Bowl. The Texans are going to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to ask both of you, are the Texans going to the Super Bowl? You tell me, Bill.
Chance.
No chance? Sartain?
I don't think they could beat Baltimore, but I think they're really good. And because I just don't think people understand how good CJ Stroud is. I've been watching him every week.
He's fun to watch, man.
It's not just that he's fun to watch. There's things like I watched this with Trevor Lawrence, and I remember the first year with Peyton Manning. Manning. There were things Peyton Manning, you saw the arm strength, and it's like, but he didn't quite get it. He led the league in interceptions. And then you see it with guys like, say, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston doesn't see things. He doesn't see the underneath coverage. He follows the receiver. You see some guys get it and not get it. Lamar Jackson has figured things out. Like, he's gotten way better with his reads. When I watch CJ Stroud, he got it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, there are throws he shouldn't be able to make that he can make falling back. Like, he's one of these quarterbacks.
Falling back.
He's so talented that he can throw the ball with velocity from, like, with no platform,
Yep.
in all kinds of different ways. And when you watch him, the way his feet stay active and the way he goes down his progression, he looks like a guy who's been in the league for 5 or 6 years. He looks like the guy in his mid-30s who finally gets it, but he gets it his rookie year. I just don't think people recognize how good this kid is. And
you're spot on.
Yeah.
He is so good.
If they had Tank Dell, maybe I think they would have a chance. The problem is, their defense is good, but I don't know if it's good enough to stop the running game of Baltimore. So no, I don't think they're good enough to beat Baltimore. So I don't see Houston going to the Super Bowl.
What I love about him is you rarely see him hesitate. Whether when he gets pressured, if he decides to run, he goes. If he's going to run and throw, whatever he's going to do, he doesn't hesitate. That's like
great.
Dak hesitates a lot for me, right? It's like a lot of those quarterbacks.
In this situation too, rookies don't fare well. But I'm going to tell you something. He's I don't even consider him a rookie, like you said.
Right.
He's like a veteran, and I don't think that's going to affect him at all. I just think that he can't go. This Cleveland game's a very tough game. Right?
Cleveland's a solid team.
They may get by this game, but I don't see them getting any deeper though. But I root for the kid. I like him a lot. But you think about what Jackson's done this year. What a year! Oh my God! What a team!
Yeah.
Baltimore's great. Jackson's great. He really is. We were last year. We talked about him holding out. He wanted a guaranteed contract, and look what happens. He comes back this year, doesn't even get hurt. He's always prone to injury, doesn't even get hurt. Has an unbelievable year, deserves the MVP, and they deserve to be in the Super Bowl too.
So if you had to pick a long shot to make it to the Super Bowl, who would it be?
The longest shot I would probably say would be the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs could still turn it on. They still have Chris Jones. They still could turn it on. It is mostly the personnel that they had, last year. Or the year before. So, that would be the long shot. And the other long shot would be the Cowboys. I mean, that would be – I just don't see any way the Cowboys can stop San Francisco's running game. So the thing with the Cowboys is they've spent years making the smallest, fastest defense in the NFL. And it works. If they get the lead, they will crush you. They have 4 dominant pass rushers and Odigizua, the D tackle who can rush the quarterback. They have speed at corner. They have depth at corner. They run 3 safeties up there at the same time. The problem is when you look at Marquise Bell, he's smaller than me, legitimately. Marquise Bell is like a 212-pound middle linebacker. They run guy Damone Clark is like maybe 221. When they had Van Der Esch and they had Jonathan Hankins, both the guys who've gotten hurt, they could stop the run because they had a 330-pound defensive tackle, and then they had Van Der Esch, who looks like a linebacker, like a Ray Lewis, 255-pound linebacker. The Cowboys don't have anyone like that before. They are so incredibly small that you see teams like Buffalo running all over them. San Francisco and Baltimore, there's nothing I think the Cowboys could do defensively to stop those players. Like, you take Micah Parsons out of the situation when Micah Parsons is maybe like 231 and he's going up against a left tackle. That works when he's rushing the quarterback. It doesn't work whenever they're trying to run the ball. So I think that's the issue. But yeah, the Cowboys would be the other long shot, I would say, because nobody can guard CeeDee Lamb. Nobody.
How about you, Bill? If you had to pick a long shot.
Yeah, it would be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, yeah.
What are they right now?
Listen. Just to win the AFC, you can get plus 5.5 to 1. Wow. Nothing to do with the Super Bowl. So just to win the AFC, like I said, here, Super Bowl. Let me give you a Super Bowl. Ravens are plus 3 to 1. And you could, by the way, this is a yes/no market, which is very unusual to find yes/no markets. You can lay no. The Chiefs are plus 11 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. Cowboys plus 8 to 1. I would think the Chiefs would be a bigger favorite than the Cowboys, but it's not. The Cowboys are plus 8 to 1. To win the Super Bowl.
And the Chiefs are what?
Plus 11 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah, what would have to happen, I think, would, like, say the Rams knock off the 49ers, something like that would have to happen, I think, and then the Cowboys end up playing the NFC Championship against Detroit or Philadelphia or something like that. I think that's the only one. Then I see the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, but something would have to happen. Like, they would have to get Hankins back, and they would have to figure out a way to stop the run because they just don't have any. Like, that is, if you go look, I think 8 of the top 10 rushing offenses in the NFL made the playoffs, and every time the Cowboys lost, it was because, even when they lost to the Cardinals, it was the Cardinals had, like, I want to say 200 yards rushing against them. It's like there's this one problem that they have. I don't know if you remember when the Patriots won their first Super Bowl, the next year they didn't even make the playoffs because they couldn't stop the run. It was one of these situations where when you have this particular problem and you can't solve it, every team can beat you.
The Patriots, that was 0-1 when they won the first one?
Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs next year?
Next year they didn't.
I didn't realize that.
Didn't make
and then they won the Super Bowl the year after that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The last game is Detroit and the Rams. Might as well talk about it. 3.5.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if the Rams don't stay close to this game. I know the place is going to be crazy, Ford Field, Detroit, but the Rams have really had a good second half of the season, and I just seen the odds. I couldn't believe it. You know what the odds on the Rams to win the Super Bowl is? What do you think?
Probably 20 to 1.
I was going to say 20.
55 to 1.
55
you can
to
get
1?
55 to 1.
Dude.
I mean, I didn't think it would be that high.
The Rams just beat
team.
San Francisco, right?
Yeah,
Last
but
week?
I mean, they beat the shell of San Francisco.
Right.
Like they didn't. Ayuk was playing. Debo played for a little bit. McCaffrey did not play. Their starting quarterback did not play. Purdy, he didn't play. There's a bunch of guys that
doesn't
didn't have
count.
out there.
He knows more about the players than me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew that's why I wanted to have it. Yeah,
because I play Ultimate Team. That's why I play. Madden. I play Madden Ultimate Team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
No, but so that's the last game there. I would lean to the Rams there, but nothing.
They're scary. They have this thing where like you just can't cover either. They have two wide receivers you legitimately cannot cover.
Okay, wait, hold on, back up a second. Did I just hear that right? Michael Sartain, who runs the Men of Action program, does a podcast. I feel like you're in here a few times a week doing shows.
I'm here twice today, actually.
You're out borderline every single night. I don't know if your curfew's still midnight.
No, my curfew's 4 a.m.
Oh, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you're only in the club. You go to multiple clubs in the night?
I have a girlfriend now, so maybe twice a week we go out. Yeah.
So, and you have a girlfriend. When you have time to play Madden.
Ultimate Team?
Yeah.
So let's just say I have a podcast coming up. So I have one tonight and one on Friday.
Right.
I'll sit there and I'll turn the sound off and I'll just listen to all the previous interviews and take notes and I'll play Ultimate Team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah, that's where I spend my time. That's how I get through my audiobooks.
I like it.
My last football thing here, guys. I have a bet here. All right. It's San Fran and San Fran or the San Fran 49ers or the Baltimore Ravens to win the championship. You could bet them and lay the yes minus 140 or the no plus 110. It looks easy, right? You say, San Fran, I got to go with that, minus the 140. The plus 110 is probably the right line there. Yeah, and Circa's booking that. But you would think that it would be like, San Fran.
So you get 110 if neither of them win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in other words, you get 110. You get the rest of the teams. So in other words, if you're betting San Fran or Baltimore, San Fran or Baltimore, you're betting both
to
of them
win
together.
the Super Bowl.
Either one of those teams,
it's minus 140.
Minus 140.
I would say either one, the probability is less than 50%, either one specifically is less than 50%. Either one together, I think it would be more than 50%. I would say it's a better than 50% probability that one of those two teams win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to bet?
If anything, I bet the no.
No.
I would take the juice on the other side. But that's just an interesting bet that Circa put up.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting.
A little basketball real quick just for Sartain. I just have one question.
Knock yourself out.
I know you hate NBA. I don't really love NBA. But
I like college basketball.
I know he is an astute student of the NBA. So if I was going to go to Circa right now and bet on someone to win the NBA championship,
oh man, it's tough.
Who would you take right now? Or give me two teams. Give me two.
Number one, so Milwaukee made a huge blunder by trading for Lillard. Their defense is terrible. And I saw this happening. I just do not understand the defensive side of the ball. I think they made a huge blunder by doing this. And because they did that, they let their point guard go, and he got traded to Boston. Boston, I think, is the best team in the NBA right now. That would be the team that I would suggest.
Plus 3-1.
Yes, the team that's going to come out of nowhere though, that hasn't played one single game healthy, not one, because Maxi Kleber has been hurt, and they finally got Kyrie Irving back. Is the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks have not had a single game with all 5 of their starters out there, and when they do, they're going to be the most efficient offense in the NBA. Do they? Are they going to win an NBA championship? No, they can't. Defend.
Oh, they can't.
They can't defend.
Okay.
But in that
35-1.
Yeah, in the conference, I would see it's going to be Boston and Denver playing in the NBA championship.
What are the odds for Denver?
Denver's 5.5-1. Yep, Nuggets are.
Right. Denver is big. They have brought most of the team back. And they run their offense a really simple, efficient way through their 7-foot-tall big man who's the best passer in the NBA. So that's the team I see, doing really well.
Did you like the Bucks a little bit?
No, the problem is the Bucks when the Lillard can't defend at all. Like they went from one of the best defensive teams in the league to one of the worst, and that's what happened when they traded. I'm trying to remember Drew Holiday away, and so I think it's been a problem. But the thing is, them giving Drew Holiday away for Lillard gave Boston the opportunity to trade for Holiday, and now Holiday is a better version of Marcus Smart, and that's why I think they're going to be a terribly hard team to get out because they've got two-way players on at every position, including Porzingis. I just think they're going to be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this was a little bit different of a podcast.
I liked it.
More of we got some good insight on these playoff games this week. And back to our regular scheduled kind of show next week. I like this show. We talked about each game, and very unusual that I like, some.
Yeah, I'm
games.
shocked.
I don't come on. I think.
There's two sides for you.
All the years we've done this show, I don't think I've ever come on and say I like an NFL side.
You rarely give out a pick on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about grinding out a couple % on the sports books and hoping not to get thrown out like I've done back-to-back weeks.
He gets so bitter. He hates it. All right, gang. Anything we didn't bring up that you'd like to bring up?
Hey, you know what it reminds me of is the guy who keeps going to a nightclub, not spending any money, and leaving with the hottest girls, and then the nightclub bans that guy.
Right.
I've seen that happen before. Like a guy keeps coming up, he keeps walking in the VIP section, leaving with hot girls, and then the VIP hosts have the guys. That's kind of what this reminds me.
Yeah.
of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Speaking of clubs, though, now, so do you go to a couple clubs now? Now you say you have a girlfriend now, so you don't go as much.
Yeah, when we like the DJ, we go up on stage and we'll watch whoever like performing. Like Friday, we're going to go see Deadmau5.
Okay, so now I know that guy isn't right.
Yeah.
Does he put like a mask on or something?
Yeah. Very good, Bill.
Yeah,
Proud of you. Where is Deadmau5?
I'm hip.
Zook.
I feel like he hasn't been here in a while. No.
Yeah, no, he performs at Zook pretty frequently.
Oh, okay.
Where's Zook? Where's that at?
Zook is at Resorts World, or I'll go see when Nightmare is at Omnia. I'll go see him there. And then there's a few DJs I like to go see. Like when Calvin Harris is at XS, I'll generally go see that. Although
My wife likes him.
Yeah.
Have you been to Live yet?
Yeah, it's great.
How is it?
Awesome. It's awesome. I saw Dave Grutman there at Poppy Steak right before it opened. It's cool. It's not as big as the Live in Miami, but it's good. And I've heard from other sources they have a lineup of a murderer's row of DJs that they're going to have come in to that place.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be exciting to watch. I like the way it's set up. I know there's a back wall there with the bar, and they're going to open that whole place up and have like a balcony where you can see the whole city. So I think that's cool. I really wish they would put some kind of club at the roof, at the top of it, like they have Starlight 66 at Resorts World. I really wish they would do something like that at Fontainebleau.
Wait, I don't know what Starlight 66 is.
It's on Resorts World. If you go there, there's a bar that's on the 66th floor. It's awesome. It's really cool. Everything's wood grain. It's really cool. Yeah, I've had a couple of events.
Is it popular?
Sometimes
or is it kind of underground?
They rent it out for events, and it's open on all sides, so you can see. There's glass on all the way.
Wow.
Like 270 degrees of glass. It's pretty awesome.
And last thing, real quick, since we talked about Live, Fontainebleau. I'm a little nervous. It could be this isn't the best time to judge a new casino yet.
Okay.
And I'm hoping it's that.
Right.
The casino's empty, man. No one's playing table games.
Oh, you've been there and you've seen that?
Twice. No one's really playing table games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been there at night, and now it was during the week. It wasn't a weekend, so I'll give them that. So daytime, and it was Christmas week, so it just could be that. But the table minimums are insane. The Sportsbook this last Sunday, I wasn't there, but a friend of mine said table minimums for the Sportsbook $5,000, and they're all empty.
I've heard that complaint.
How are they screwing this up?
Charging $5,000 to sit down and watch a game. I heard
that's not the model here, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that you can just replicate what they do at the Wynn, and I think a lot of these places don't understand the vertical integration in these casinos. Meaning, like they have an entire process where the high roller is picked up, taken to the suite, and then greeted by a host, and the host knows exactly where to take them, ending up at the end of the night with a briefcase full of cash or empty of cash, and then at a dance floor table at the nightclub. Like there's a thing at the Wynn where it's this vertical integration where from beginning to end everything is just sort of seamless. Yep. These other places don't have that, and they just wonder why the Palm struggles, and it's because they can't master that same level of integration. You would think all these MGM properties would be able to do it because they're all connected with one another, but the Wynn seems to know how to do that better than anyone. Yeah. And the other thing is, and this is not a knock on anything. Obviously, Jason Strauss is probably one of the most successful guys in this whole city.
For sure.
But his company isn't owned by the casinos, whereas the Wynn Nightlife is owned by the casino. That means even if the nightclub takes a loss, it doesn't matter. The casino owns it. That is one advantage that Fontainebleau is going to have, is that they're fine to take a loss because all they care about is the table games, like you said. So, but it's strange that the table games aren't doing that well. All they care about is the gambling. So, for you understand, Jason Strauss doesn't care about the gambling.
Right.
His concern is the revenue of the nightclub.
Sure.
Whereas if the casino owns the nightclub, then the concern is let's entertain the high roller with pretty girls so that he continues to spend money and lose money for us. And so we can make money on that whole thing because it's one pot of money for them. Yeah. Whereas if we're talking about Tal Hakkasan, then it's two pots of money. It's the public. It's the company Tal Hakkasan along with the actual casino.
And I didn't bring that up because I'm hating on Fontainebleau either. Yeah. Have you been in there?
I like
it's
it.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's so
like
nice. Like I want that place to win. I'm nervous.
It's a tough part of the strip, and I think they have to start lowering the minimums and lowering these fancy $5,000 things to sit down and watch a game. Stations is booking their games, I believe. We're partners with them in a revenue share, booking in the Sportsbook. I don't get it. I don't get how they did this. No one wants to sit down.
And it's a nice Sportsbook. The setup is great in there. All the seating's great. The actual seating is so comfortable. Yeah. At any chair in that building, whether you're sitting in a slot machine, at any of those little bars on the casino floor, like they got everything right. They just need to fine-tune this. What?
Yeah, my answer is always the same. Just get prettier girls. Like that's always.
I agree with you.
That's always like.
Isn't it weird how people haven't figured out that the best currency on the planet is pretty girls?
As it becomes more politically incorrect to say that, and you start seeing the guys who actually do it have more success.
Right.
Like again, I remember CES used to be nothing but stunners at every single booth, and they've stopped doing that.
Yeah, and lowest turnout ever this week.
Lowest turnout ever, exactly. I'm gonna keep reminding people, like it doesn't matter if you're a man or if you're a woman. Places are more comfortable, more fun, and more friendly when there's just more women there. If you just did that, if these casinos would just grasp that one concept, everything would be better. All these places would be completely packed.
And I know I said one more thing, and I'm going to add one more thing. What were you going to say just now?
I want to know how much it is to go see like a guy like the Dead Mouse.
The Dead Mouse? I mean, if you live here, it's free. Like here, I could just walk in.
Oh, so by us being locals, we get in free?
Yeah, well, you need to establish that they know you on a regular basis, and it would also help if it was 3 guys and 8 girls. Right. That would also help. Right. To get in would not be an issue.
Fold up a $100 bill and give it to someone too?
I mean, you could do that. Yeah. Well, actually, I wouldn't. We don't want to say that publicly because the hosts are not allowed to take tips.
Not allowed to take tips.
No, they're not allowed to take tips.
I've tipped out thousands to hosts. Thousands and thousands.
Okay. Now, I think casino hosts can, but I don't know if nightclub hosts can.
I've tipped out nightclub hosts thousands.
Don't say that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, the point is, if you're a local, especially on an industry night, no problem whatsoever. If you have any girls with you, no problem whatsoever. But it helps if you know a couple of the hosts beforehand.
Yeah. I haven't met in 10 years, but 10 years ago, that's the way you get it.
Okay. My last thing I promised this time. Have you been to Durango yet?
No.
What are you doing?
Moose told me about it. He's working over there. Mustafa, he's working over there. I haven't been there yet.
It's great. Bel Air is like their little lounge. Is really cool. I haven't been there at night yet, just in the daytime. But the Sportsbook's great. You love Durango, right?
Yeah.
You know I'm pro Durango because I'm 2 minutes. I live 2 minutes away.
Is that it? Yeah. My animal hospital where I take all my rescues is next door, and so is the VA hospital or the VA. My VA clinic's right next door.
That's nice to know. That's the nice side of you. So you'll actually rescue.
Oh, he rescues cats like it's nobody's business.
I'm number 11 right now.
He can give any crazy cat lady a run for her money.
Oh, you have 11 at the house?
No. I've had over the last 20 years. I've had 11.
How many are at the house right now?
3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. There's only if I can show you my Twitter account. I have one person every month. Every month I give out. I literally give money to one person every month. It's not a lot. It's $3 a month. I give this guy Niall Harbison. He rescues and saves animals all the time. I also donate a couple $100 to him throughout the year. I would love giving money to charities when it comes to rescuing. So you're rescuing cat. You go to that rescue hospital and they work with you?
No, that's the hospital where I take my cats after I rescue them. But I have one of my cats I got was abandoned outside the hospital. They called me immediately, like we're looking for a home, and I just took the cat.
Oh wow,
yeah, I love it.
That's great. That's great. I love it.
Michael Sartain, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Of course, man.
Bill, I will see you next week, and we will see all of you next week on Wisecrack.